Alright guys, so I got another fanfiction idea for you guys to enjoy today, and this one is kind of a follow-up to an episode of Danny Phantom, which, yeah, I know, and also kind of an adaptation of a Spider-Man story, which when you think about it, the episode I'm referencing was a reference to Spider-Man. It's basically the Clone Saga. And as we all know, the episode that introduced Danny Phantom was kind of like a condensed version of the Clone Saga. I know a lot of people say, like, oh, it's like Supergirl with Danny Phantom, and I think that's what they were trying to go for, at least Butch Hartman was, but I think at the core of it, the rest of the writing staff, with all the clones and whatnot, and having Vlad Masters behind it all, was like, no, yeah, we're doing we're doing an adaptation of Spider-Man: The Clone Saga. So, and the fact they just made it in 30 minutes instead of an entire fucking season is astonishing. So yes, this is Danny Phantom: The Clone Saga, which is also a sequel to that episode. I'm forgetting the name, but you know the one I'm talking about. If you're a die-hard Danny Phantom fan, you already know which episode I'm referring to. So this episode takes place after the series end, and Danny and Danielle are more or less going through Vlad's old mansion, because Vlad is out in space, and they're looking through the files, and then like, yeah, how, and it's really creepy, but then they start stumbling on, oh, he wasn't making all of these clones. Like, the thing is like, there was somebody else, and there were other clones that were made before Danielle, but the thing was that someone else was helping Vlad make these clones. Vlad basically was working with someone and backstabbed them and took the technology for himself. That's why all the other clones were all like just fucked up, except Danielle, and even to an extent she was breaking down because he didn't get the science right. He wasn't getting the exact science right. So Danny's like, we gotta find this person, because if there is someone else who knows how to clone me, that's bad. That's, you know, we gotta stop this guy. The guy in question is a guy by the name of Aleister LaVey, which it's a reference to Aleister Crowley and Anton LaVey, both members of the Satanic Temple. I thought that'd just be kind of a fun way. Yeah, let's do something really fun. Let's just do something really, like, let's do like just a fun come together name, kind of like a reference. More, it wasn't so much it was a reference to them, but also a reference to like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where you had like Dio Brando, a reference to Ronnie James Dio and Marlon Brando. So it was like that. So yeah, so Dr. LaVey was a dude who was a member of he was a scientist for the Guys in White, and he studied spectral DNA. But however, when he found out about Danny Phantom, he became obsessed with him, and eventually, when his obsessions got him kicked out of the Guys in White, but his obsessions also got the attention of Vlad, and the two worked together until Vlad backstabbed him, both figuratively and literally, and Vlad kicked out Dr. LaVey and took the research for himself, but he couldn't really get it right. So Dr. LaVey is now like creating clones of his own. Like, he is making his own set of clones for himself to, like, basically, like, I can make the perfect human being. Like, I want to make these hybrids, because Vlad told him everything. Vlad told us, like, yeah, there's this guy, Danny Phantom, he and I are the only two hybrids. So Dr. LaVey is more or less creating clones, but this time they're not like imperfect like Danny was. He's not only just cloning people, he's actually like breaking into hospitals and putting these babies, because he's having them like born as infants, steal people's children and replace them with the clones. So, because in his fucked up mind, Dr. LaVey wants to create a world of like ghost human hybrids, and he wants to start by having these clones grow up, have their ghost genes not really activate till they're like in their teens, and eventually like they'll have sex with other people, and that genome will continue and a new generation of people will have, like, ghost powers. And even when Danny finds out about all this, he's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What is wrong with you? But yeah, the other thing is that Dr. LeVay is also like, it's kind of funny that, it's kind of funny because I used to work with Vlad always told me that he was a bit of a cloner himself, so, I'm just saying, like, was his DNA somehow implanted into Maddie, and he was already a ghost-human hybrid? I'm just saying, like, he's basically trying to insinuate that Vlad's, like, made Danny his clone, and that just fucks with Danny for a while, thinking that he's a clone of Vlad. There are also other clones out there that are already, like, growing up, and because he's been doing this for a little bit, because Dr. LeVay's been doing this and subplanting people, and even making people, like, sleeper agents for him, and even had other clones of Danny out there in the world. One of them is a young man named Cole, a young man named Colton, who he's a quarterback. He is for a high school team. He wants to be like a star, and he doesn't want anything to do with ghosts. He doesn't even believe he's a clone. When Danny comes to meet him, he's like, "Holy shit, are you like my long lost brother? Because I got adopted, and they always said I had like a sibling out there. So are you like my long lost brother?" He's like, sit down, dude. This is gonna be a lot." So Danny explains to Colton everything that happens, and of course Colton thinks he's full of shit until his powers start activating in the middle of a game. Another one is actually, there's another one out there who is working for, like, civil rights. Like, he's learning to be a civil rights lawyer, and he's actually lost his sight. Can you guess who I based that character off of? I bet you can't. But yes, there was a defect in his DNA, so he lost his sight. But however, his ghost senses evolved to basically be like an echolocation for him. So his ghost senses would be like his sight. So yeah, that character is not named Matthew because I'm not that cheap. I'm not that much of a ripoff. This character's name was Franklin, and Franklin was another clone. Like I said, he had a defect where he was blind, but Franklin is like a little more accepting of this because, like, yeah, you're Danny Phantom, okay, and I guess I'm. He doesn't believe, like, the clone thing, but he's like, all right, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's check. Let's see where this goes. Another one is a girl. It's a young woman who is the woman is actually like she's training to become a surgeon, like a neurosurgeon, and she's using her ghost powers to, like, analyze pinpoint accuracy of, like, certain brain diseases before they can form. And Danny's actually, like, in awe of how well his clones are doing. Like, holy shit, I barely think I'm going to college, and these guys are, like, using their powers in ways I didn't think possible. And it's kind of like bringing Danny down of the idea that a lot of his clones are doing better than him, to which Sam is like, look, Danny, the fact that they are you, and you gave them this. And Danny has actually, like, because if LeVay flips a switch, these guys will go rabid and start killing people. So, but at the same time, these people have gotten some of them are like, some of the clones they meet are like, yeah, okay, so I'm a clone of you. Big fucking whoop. I've got a life. Family loves me. Who are you to just come in and just blow? I don't care if you're a superhero, dude. My whole life is ahead of me. So Danny's left with this moral quandary of, yeah, they're me. They're clones of me, but, like, do I have the right to just destroy their lives because they're part of me, and it was a violation, but, like, at the same time, I can't take this away from them. So yeah, it was not so much like a big superhero story, it was more like dealing with the fallout of having these clones, and, like, do they have the same rights as Danny and the others do. So there you go. That is pretty much like a brief view of Danny Phantom the Clone Saga. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this story? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.